Terror attacks like Tuesday's lone wolf truck attack in New York City are the new face of terrorism, a hallmark of ISIS and much harder to prevent than the coordinated attacks of times past. Nitsana Darshan-Leitner, an Israeli activist and lawyer, author of the newly released book Harpoon, Inside the Covert War Against Terrorism, Money Masters, joins us now to discuss. Nitsana, always good to see you. Thanks so much.
Pleasure to be here.
Take us through, the Israelis obviously learned how to take on these major terror networks, Islamic Jihad, Palestinian Front, Alaska Martyrs Brigade, by going after their funding. Then those same groups moved to these same lone wolf attacks, these vehicle attacks. What's the next step in combating these kinds of attacks?
Well, obviously, it's a new form of terrorism. In Israel and elsewhere in the world, we used to have terror organizations, and where Israel came with this innovative practice of going after the money financier, it doesn't really work when it comes to a lone wolf. You seem to have like people who just grab knives and go and stab other people.
You've obviously done a lot of work with the Israeli government. What are they doing? Are they as perplexed as America is, or since they had a couple of extra years to work on this, have they come up with some new ways to go after these lone wolf attacks?
Look, Israel is on the front line of terrorism. And recently, we've been hit with these lone wolf attacks. And what the Israeli forces are using is any intelligence they have, any information they have, in order to find the pattern that stands behind this lone wolf, because there is no such a thing, a lone wolf. Indeed, they do go and act in ramming attacks and stabbing and shooting, but in the end of the day, there is a mechanism behind them. Either it's a Hamas terror organization, or in these cases, in the United States,
right,
Nice, Barcelona, is ISIS. And if you can use your hackers, seriously, you can use these brilliant minds to go and to learn inside the cupboard of this organization, you can basically track them in advance, and only this way to stop them.
Well, it's Israelis 8200 unit that we know is working on that.
Exactly.
Let's broaden this out a little bit in terms of how this relates to North Korea. There was the Iran-North Korea axis. Israeli intelligence has worked a lot on the North Korean issue. We see President Trump right now getting ready to travel all the way through Asia right now in Tokyo, talking about the North Korea issue. What is the Israeli view of lessons learned that the United States could apply to North Korea?
Look, Israel saw the military solution as the last resort. They did not want to go into a nuclear attack against Iran. So Mayor Dagan, the former head of the Mossad, had like a plan with 4 corners. Put diplomatic pressure, use the opposition in Iran, use people to be assassinated, go after their scientists, use malware viruses. This is what United States has to learn when it comes to North Korea. Go and blow up their systems. Go and put malwares, viruses into their system. Don't let their scientists walk free on the streets of North Korea. Use the intelligence you have. Use other tactics
you have to wonder about their scientists not only walking free in North Korea, which is so difficult to operate in, but their scientists walk free in China. Their scientists walk free in other countries as well. Nitsana, great book, very interesting what you all were able to do in sort of tracing the money of terror and how it sort of forced the terrorists to change their tactics. Appreciate you being here. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.